Very good afternoon. Today we are going to talk about a topic aligned with peace and conflict studies. Can you see the slides? It is about peace culture according to our study guide, right? Our course guide. We have to discuss this topic. It is about culture and peace. Then altogether we can say peace culture, right? We will see what we are going to talk, right? While we are talking, while we are discussing, if you find any clarification, or if you need to talk, if you need to raise questions, anytime you can do it, right? In our class, you are very free to ask questions, right? So other thing is that you have to read articles and books related with peace and conflict studies. I have seen one article which was written by Professor Johan Galtung. Then after I have posted all the videos to YouTube because many students they uh, requested to post them into YouTube because it is easy for them uh, to watch, right? So that's why I posted all these videos into YouTube or had uploaded in Google Drive and send the link via LMS. So other thing is that I have kept several videos and lessons, slides as well as lessons in LMS. So you can find these things from the LMS also because I linked YouTube URL to the LMS so that you can search your video to the LMS as well. So then, line with our topic, I think you can see the slide, right? So this is the scholar who talk about the concept of peace culture. Professor Ellis Baldwin, Norwegian origin, American professor Ellis Baldwin. Uh, she was the person who talk about peace and culture together. Then it's called peace culture. Alice Baldwin was a Norwegian-born American sociologist. In discipline, she was a professor of sociologist. While doing a teaching in sociology, she did a lot of studies aligned with peace and conflict studies. Apart from that, she was the Secretary General of the International Peace Research Association. That's a very big portfolio, uh, right? So she produced several concepts, theories, which are very important in the field of peace and conflict studies. So when we are talking about peace culture, so we are going to investigate ideas and beliefs or teaching of Professor Alice Baldwin. We'll see. So this is our first slide, right? What we are going to study, what we are going to talk, core of peace culture. So then first we can read the bullets first. The creative management of differences is at the core of peace culture. The creative management of differences is at the core of peace culture. So now we can have a brief idea about what is peace culture. In other words, it is not a culture without conflict. Since every human individual is different from every other, so then conflict is a basic part of any social order. What she's talking about, she wants to highlight the core of peace culture. What is that? The creative management of differences is the core of peace culture. Creative management of differences. Differences with whom? Differences among the human beings. Creative management of differences is at the core of peace culture. Why does it need? Why we need to have creative management of differences? Or let's forget about other things. Why we need to have differences? Why we don't have equality, equal manner? Why we don't have linear process of human beings, linear development of human beings? Why we don't have same kind of thinking patterns? Why we don't have similar thoughts of human beings? Why we do have different type of thinking patterns, different type of thoughts, different thoughts, different features, different body structures, different colors, different way of working, different way of thinking. Thinking patterns are very different. Working patterns are very different, right? Why is that? What is your reason? What is your answer? Is it clear? What is my question? Why we need to have, or why we need to address difference or different things? Why we don't have equal things or same kind of things, same matters, equal matters? Why we can't have equal matters? What's your answer, Aruni? Is that clear? Aruni? Lakshmi, you can type it. My question is clear.
No, sir.
So I'm asking why we need to deal with different things. Why we can't have, why we can't achieve, or why we can't adopt similar kind of things, then we do not need to address the different issues or different things. why we do need different things. What do you think? Very simple answer. For example, think about, look at my farm, right? How many fingers are there? There are 5 fingers, right? Can you see them? Can you see them?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So what do you can see? Do they similar? Are they similar? Do they have a similar kind of pattern? I mean, body structure, or are they similar? All fingers
No,
are
sir.
same or not?
No, sir.
No. Aroni?
No, sir.
No. Why is that? That's my question. Why our fingers are in different sizes? Why they uh, don't have a similar size? What's the reason? Is that very hard question? Lagni, what's the answer? Oh, Aruni, also you can type it. Because difficult to exist. There are different one another. Yes, there are different one another. 5 fingers are in 5 sizes. Why is that? That's a difference. Different thing, right? Why is that? What's the reason? Very simple answer is there. What is the simple answer? That is the nature. Do you understand? That is the nature.
Yes.
That is the nature. Because they are born like that, right? That's the nature. Likewise, among the different people, we can see different colors, different sizes, different figures, different eye colors, different hair colors, different skin colors, different walking styles, different speaking styles, different thinking patterns, different eating patterns, right? Different education, I mean, learning patterns, different way of socialization, right? Different things are everywhere. That's the nature. You can see the sea behind my what's called background, right? In the sea, not on the sea, in the sea, we can find different uh, type of living creatures. Maybe fish, maybe plants, right? That's the nature. Difference is the nature. If we can see similar pattern or linear pattern or same kind of things, so it is uncommon. That's not the common thing. That's not the nature. That's not the natural. if we can see similar kind of things or series of similar kind of things, so we feel that that is uncommon, that's not natural, that's artificial, right? So that's what society is very different. Human beings are very different. We have different type of thinking patterns, we have different type of eating patterns, we have different type of sleeping patterns, we have different needs, different interests, different skills, different talents, right? We are different. Though siblings in a family, they are also different, right? They are also different, right? If we are, if if we if in your family, think about there are 2 3 members, maybe elder son, yeah, sorry, elder sister, younger brother, elder brother, and so on. When we are going to cook something for your dinner, it is very difficult to reach a common decision. No? It's very difficult to take a common decision because elder sister is there, she's not eating dal. Younger brother is there, he is eager to eat. He, younger brother is there, he is eager to eat dal, right? He is very much interested in eating dal, I mean uh, dal curry. But elder sister, she doesn't like. What about you? You are having moderate ideas. But parents, they want to have rice and curry. The youngest one, brother, he wants to eat fried rice or kottu. It is very difficult to. So sometimes elder sister or and you want to have string hoppers because you don't like to have rice in for your dinner, in rice in night time. It is very difficult to reach a common decision because though you are the members of the same family, you are very different. That's the nature. That's the reality. So then, if differences are arised very much, so then disputes and conflicts might be there. Disputes and conflicts might be there. So then it needs to manage creatively this kind of differences to have peace culture, to establish peace culture. Differences are there, that's normal. How we can manage it? We have to manage those kind of differences through the lens of creativity. Creatively, we have to manage differences. Then we can establish peace culture. Then we can have culture without conflict. Right? That's what Professor S. Baldwin is saying. Since every human individual is different from every other, they are very different from every others. Therefore, differences are always there. Whenever Wherever we go, we can find differences. On the basis of that, we can find disputes and conflict. Therefore, conflict is a basic part of any social order. Conflict is a basic part of any social order. Conflict is a part of social order. That's a part of our life. That's a part of our day-to-day life. We, according to Professor Galton, we can not avoid conflict from our day-to-day life. We have to live with this kind of conflicts. Like in these days, or nowadays, we are living with Corona. Until this moment, we can not avoid it, but we have to live with it. Likewise, we have to live with conflict. We cannot see, we cannot hope to see the conflict-free society. Wherever, whenever we go, we can find we have to face conflicts, because the society which is full of conflict, that's a very common thing. We cannot avoid it. Then what we can do, we have to manage conflict using our creativity. So then we can establish peace culture. That's what Professor Ellis Baldwin wanted to highlight. Is it clear for everyone?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Who is this? Aroni, okay. Yes, I got the message from Lakni. Yes, sir, it's clear. Now I'm moving to next slide, right? Plus, I'm I will read the bullets. Each of us sees, hears, and experiences the world inequally, because our living world, it is made by, according to Catholics, Muslims, Hebrews, and someone else, this world had, had been made by the Almighty God. According to some others, this world is made by the nature. Whoever, whenever it had been made, right? What's the nature of world? That's unequal. Or differences are there. That's not equal. Unequality is there. We can see it, we can see the inequality, we can hear inequality, we can experience inequality. That's the nature of world. That's the nature of world. We spend our lives bridging the differences between our perception and the perceptions of others. But we have to live in this society. We have to live in this world, in this unequal world. So then, we have to think about differences among the people. So then we have to think about our perception, our beliefs, our attitudes, our views, right? What we have to think about? We have to think about our perceptions, our attitudes, our beliefs, our assumptions, right? Then we have to think about others' beliefs, others' attitudes, others' perceptions, others' the way of looking, right? We have to think about their perspectives as well. So then we can find there's a difference. What's the difference? The way of perceiving of someone else is different from the my perception, right? Then what I can do? I have to create the bridge between these two perceptions. I have to manage these differences. Right? I have to spend my life to make a bridge between my perception and others' perception, between my beliefs and others' beliefs, between my attitudes and others' attitudes, right? So let's assume if I try to see the world through the lens of my own, is that correct? For example, let's assume I'm a vegetarian, right? I'm not vegetarian, but you can assume your sir, he's a vegetarian. You can assume that, right? So I also assume that I'm a vegetarian. So then, if really I'm a vegetarian, so then I would like to see the world through the lens of vegetarian. So then I would like to see others, then I others as vegetarians. If I find the non-vegetarian person, whether he's my boss or not, whether he's my junior or not, or superior or not, he's not a vegetarian, then I feel angry. I feel uncomfortable. I feel upset because I'm vegetarian. He's not vegetarian. She's not vegetarian, right? He's eating chicken or other fish or other things. Can you understand? I'm vegetarian. Then I try to see certain characteristics of vegetarian person from each and every person I met in my society. Do you think that is that good for the smooth function of the society? Do you think that? Right? So people are like that. Normally people cannot understand diversity of this world, inequality of this world. They are the nature of this world. That's the naturally they are built in that way, right? You can see my fingerprint right now. My fingerprint. That is unique for me. In this world, in this moment, there is no any other person who is having similar kind of fingerprint of mine. That is very unique for me. That is my identity. That's my personality. That's my way of living, right? Others, They cannot force me to be like to be the person of others. They cannot force me to convert, to give up my ideas, to give up my perceptions, to give up my thinking patterns, to give up my living patterns, right? That is their path. That's their way of life. This is my way of life, right? To have a democratic and healthy society, we want to have this type of uh, society. Then we can see peace culture. Otherwise, we cannot. Right? Otherwise, you can see violence culture, right? Even though it is a reasonable to ask why we do not fight constantly, given our differences, much of the time we do this work peacefully. By fighting with each other, we can have similar kind of things. I mean, peaceful things, peaceful situation for our society. But that's not a long-lasting one, right? What we have to do, we have to manage differences using our creativity. If you want to have real peace, if you want to have real peace culture, if you want to have peace, if you want to establish peace culture for a long time, and we want to have a durable peace, a positive peace, then what we have to do, we have to manage peace, we have to manage differences through our creativity. That's what Professor Ellis Baldwin wanted to talk. What we learn from this slide, world is unequal. We want to manage, we want to have a certain kind of path or management between our perceptions and others' perceptions if we really want to have peace culture. So then another one, bonding and autonomy. That's very important one, which was highlighted by Professor Ellis Baldwin. Bonding and autonomy, right? What are the bullets? The explanation lies in the two opposition needs for bonding and autonomy. Needs for bonding and autonomy. Every human being needs to bond with others. At the same time, we need autonomy, our own space, our own room, enough to express our individuality and personality. We want to have separate space or separate room to enjoy our personality or our dignity. We need to be part of a community. We need others to care for us. We need to care for others. Children who do not experience this caring have trouble while they were dealing with others throughout their lives. What is this? Bonding and autonomy. That is very important one. Other thing is that two different things, right? Bonding. Bonding means it's very closeness to our society. Our society means it it may be our family, maybe our class or classmates, batchmates, our village, our area, or our country, or our region, or our world. We have certain bonds, odds and duties, certain bonds, all right? We have certain bonds. While we are having certain bonds, we want to have time or space. It's called autonomy to maintain ourselves, to kept to keep our personal things, to protect our dignity or identity, right? Can you understand this? For example, think about now you have to attend a funeral house. When you were studying for your advanced level examination, there was a funeral house nearby your house, right? Nearby your home. There was a funeral of your friend's mother or grandfather or father or someone else. In accordance with your closeness to the society, closeness with that particular friend or relative or neighbor, your inner feelings, inner thoughts, they were boiling and saying that you must go there and attend the funeral and express your honor to the craft, right? You felt in that way. Why is that? Because you had certain bonds to your community. Your community means maybe your parents, your friends, your neighbors, and such a way, teachers or so on, right? So then at the same time, you were in a rush because your advanced level examination is coming soon. Syllabuses were not covered, fully covered. Your learning process was not finished still. You are in the nerve situation, but you had a bond to attend the funeral. Meanwhile, at the same day, your class teacher or tuition teacher, he or she organized an extra class for you. That is very important because past papers are there to be discussed. Past papers were there to be discussed. then you are very nervous, because when you're thinking about your future, your examination, your dream to enter the university, to get a degree, to have a good job and decent life, then that is very important to attend the class, because the teacher will discuss past paper, right? That's very important for you. If you think about your future, if you think about yourself, if you think about your inner mind, then now you are ready to go there. But at the same time, your inner mind is boring and saying that it is memorizing your duty, your bond to attend the funeral, right? Then what, in such a situation, what you can do? You have to manage both the things. You have to attend the funeral, while at the same time you have to go to the class. Then how you can manage this? Then you may decide to attend the funeral night time. I mean, the day before the class day. The night time you went there to the funeral, attend the funeral. Then after, next day, you will have to follow the class. That's how this is two ends, right? This two ends. It's very difficult to manage social bonds and our autonomy. We can say our self-interest, right? So then another example, think about you have beautiful garden in your home. You have many, very few big trees or beautiful trees, maybe jackfruit trees or something like that in your garden, right? So it is very useful for you because you can have jackfruit after they get very ripe, or before that you can use them to eat, and that's very useful. Because of that, your family, parents, grandfather, grandmother, and so on, they are very much interested about this jackfruit tree. However, one branch of the jackfruit tree is growing faster and faster, and it has gone beyond our land, beyond our frontier, I mean, beyond our limitation, beyond our fence, right? Now, the jackfruit tree, it is in our land, but very strong, very fruitful branch of the jackfruit tree has grown off up to another end beyond our fence. It is very near to electricity cable which are on the road. They are made by the electricity board, right? if the jackfruit tree, the jackfruit branch grow up further, it will definitely hit, or it will definitely touch the electricity wire. If it is happen, the whole area, including ourselves, will have a problem. What kind of problem? If it is happen at particular day in future, we will have to suffer without having electricity, right? So then we have experience, because time to time people coming from the electricity board, then they are coming and cutting the branches which are going to touch, or which are going to hit the electricity wire. When they came and when they tried to cut the branch of the jackfruit tree, our family members, maybe grandma, grandfather, father, or mother, or ourselves, we can say, oh, you cannot touch. You cannot touch. Why? This is our jackfruit tree. That's very important for us. Every month, it will produce very fruitful, very portionable jackfruit for us. Even though it is not the season, this jackfruit tree is producing a good fruit for us. In this corona period, that is very important for us. You cannot touch. If you touch, I will teach a lesson. Someone may say, right? But we know that in the future, if the jackfruit tree, jackfruit branch touches the electricity wire, the whole day we will have suffering without having electricity, right? So then that's true. That's these two ends. In one end, we want to protect our jackfruit tree because that branch is very useful for us. Many fruits are born in that branch. If someone cuts that branch, so that's very uh, loss for us. So that's why we are talking to protect this jackfruit tree and branch. That's very useful for us, especially in this pandemic situation. That's its importance cannot be measurable, right? So then, on the other hand, if something happen in the near future, all day or maybe 1 day, 2 day or 3 days, sometimes we will have a problem without having electricity. We cannot learn well, we cannot cook well, we cannot have access to water, we cannot do anything in our home, right? So then our bonds are there, our duties are there. What should be our duty? If we think about our duty, our bonds to the society, our closeness to the society, then we should allow the persons who came from electricity board to cut additional part of the jackfruit tree, the branch of the jackfruit tree, because they came to protect the electricity wire. They came not, they did not came to cut the jackfruit tree. They just wanted to, they just want to cut part of that branch, because if they will, if they do not that one, in very near future, the branch will touches the electricity and will damage it. Likewise, we have to think social closeness, social bonds, bondages, and also autonomy or self-interest, right? So another example, big example, I will take. So have heard about fishery issue between India and Sri Lanka. We both the countries, we are having certain border sea lines, right? We have our area on the sea. India, they also having same kind of border on the sea lines. But knowingly or unknowingly, our fishermen, they would prefer to cross this border and enter the Indian Sea and catch the fish, right? Likewise, Indian fishermen, they also would prefer to enter the Sri Lankan border and catch the fish, right? So then both the countries have certain border. The Coastal Guard Army from Indian side and Sri Lankan Navy from our side, we are there, we put them there to protect our border, coastal border, right? So then Indians are coming this side and our people are going their side. That's very big issue, right? If you think about autonomy, if you think about the concept of sovereignty, you know what is that? If you think about autonomy, self-interest, or sovereignty, we can order our Navy persons to fire them. If India, if they think about autonomy, if they think about sovereignty, if they think about the what is called self-interest, they also can do the same thing. They also order their coastal guards to fire the fishermen who are coming from illegally from the Sri Lankan side. So what both the countries, they are not doing, they are not behaving in that way because they know that we are very good friends for a very long time, long time. We are neighboring countries and we are very good friends, right? We are having many things from India. We got our Buddhism from India. We got our clothes, language, history, culture, and many, many things from India, right? We are very closeness to Indian people. They also thinking in that way. Sri Lankans are very good people. They are having kind heart mindset, right? In such a way, the both countries are thinking. Then what we can do, we know that we have autonomy, sovereignty, and self-interest. We can do certain things if you think about in that way, in that lens. But what we think, we are the both countries trying to manage this issue creatively. What they do, if they find illegal fishermen from coming from Indian side, if the Sri Lankan Navy, they arrested them, but they brought them to a coastal side, then they protect them. They treated good manner, they protected them. Then after the Sri Lankan government, it is the Sri Lankan government ready to send them back to India. The same way Indian government, what they are doing, they also sending back to Sri Lankan prisoners to Sri Lanka, right? So that's how they are managing autonomy and the bondings, closeness of the society, right? The same thing is happening in Australia or Papua New Guinea. As you know, that's very big, complete, very big issue. Many people, especially many Sri Lankans, they're trying to enter Australia illegally using big boats or, I mean, heavy boats. They they used sea line to enter the Australia illegally, but the illegal, I mean, that uh, mechanism is being blocked by Australian government and its coastal guards and navy and air force, because they are protecting the border. Then if they found the illegal boats coming from Sri Lanka, then they are ready to send back them to Sri Lanka. And that's how they are managing autonomy, sovereignty, and the social closeness or bonds to the society, neighbors. In that way, I have taken several examples from uh, very small examples or to certain upper level examples like Indian Sri Lankan fishery industry, issue of the fishery industry, and also illegal maritime illegal migration to Australia, right? While they are crossing the maritime borders of each country. That's a very good example when we are talking about bonds and autonomy, which are related to peace culture. Any questions, anything from your side to add, Aruni and Lagni?
No, sir.
Everything is clear?
Yes, sir.
Shall I move next one? Everything is clear from Lakni. Thank you, Lakni. Peace culture maintains a peace culture maintains creative balance among bonding, community closeness, and the need for separate spaces. That's why I have said each society develops its own pattern of balancing the needs for bonding and autonomy. But it depends upon the community to community, society to society, right? They have their own mechanism to balance these needs and bonds, balance this autonomy and bonds, balance this sovereignty and bonds. They have their own mechanisms, they have their own system. If you want to see them, we want to have investigation, very good investigation on them. Then we can find certain mechanisms which are based on this kind of balancing systems, right? So this is the definition of peace culture according to Alice Godwin, right? It can be defined as a mosaic means mosaic of identities, attitudes, values, beliefs, patterns. Actually, it can be defined as a mosaic or different type of identities, attitudes, values, beliefs, and patterns. So that type of things can be understood as peace culture that leads people to live unthinkingly with one another. The earth itself, without the aid of structured power differentials, to deal creatively with their differences and to share their resources. It means, as I mentioned before, in my hand, there are 5 fingers, but they are in 5 different sizes. Likewise, our word is unequal. Differences is the natural thing. If we can see the similar thing or linear kind of things, that might be artificial one, right? If we see everywhere, we can see the differences. Think about if you want to have a picnic to Haggala or maybe Nurelia or maybe Peradeniya Botanical Garden, if you want to visit over there, then as a batchmates or maybe friends or maybe we friends in particular class or particular science specialization class, one day you may visit over there, maybe Haggala or Nurelia or Peradeniya or Sitavaka, right? Or wherever else. You want to visit over there to see beautiful flowers and beautiful plants. When you go over there, the all flowers, the colors of all the flowers will be converted into plain color, maybe white or colors of the water or something like that. Think about all the colors converted into white color. You can go over there, you can see the flowers and plants, but all the flowers are in white. What do you think? Would you prefer to see that? Will you go there again and again? Will you spend more time over there to see the flowers? You went there to the flowers. What type of flowers? You went there or you will go there to see the flowers. What type of flowers? So different type of flowers. Flowers in different colors. Flowers in different sizes. Flowers in different, the way of growing, right? You will not go there to see the same size of flowers, same size of color, same pattern of colors, same pattern of the way of growing. If it is happen, you will not go there to see the flowers. You're going over there to see what? Different colors, different sizes, different way of growing, different places, beautiful places. That's what we are using the term beautiful. If there's different thing, we use the term use beautiful, right? If something is needed to generate the beauty, that something is the difference, nothing else. Difference, right? That's what we are going over there. If we accept diversity in our society, different identities, different attitudes, different values, different beliefs, different way of life, different patterns, different wearing, different type of wearing clothes, right? Different type of way of speaking, different type of thinking pattern, right? So then society would be a beautiful place such as Peradeniya Botanical Garden or Haggala Garden, because beauty is there. That's natural. Naturality is there. Beauty is there. Differences is there. Diversity is there. We can see diversity. Whenever, wherever we go, we can see the diversity. Right? That's the definition of peace culture. If we can have such kind of society like Peradeniya Botanical Garden or Haggala Botanical Garden, we can see, we can enjoy peace, utter peace and inner peace. Then we can have peace culture. Then we can feel peace culture. That's what Edis Baldwin wants to highlight by the term of peace culture. Although peace cultures exist as separate, identifiable societies, they are not common. They may be found among some, but not all, indigenous people, and in faith-based communities totally committed to nonviolence. Faith-based communities or indigenous people, they are totally committed to non-violence. If they are totally committed to non-violence, we can see the peace culture aligned with their societies. What do you think? Human beings are neither peaceful or aggressive. Human beings are neither peaceful or aggressive. These two ends are in their mind. Peaceful mind is in here, aggressive mind is in here. Time to time, it is fluctuating, right? The balance may change over time. It's coming and going. With periods of more peaceful behavior following periods of more violent behavior. It cannot be said that humans are innately peaceful or aggressive. Both capacities are there. Just we cannot say human beings are peaceful or aggressive. That community is peaceful, there are such communities aggressive, we cannot say. Because peaceful and aggressive, the both ends are in our minds. So then, time to time, one of them is coming and going. So then we have to practice, we have to manage our mind and these two ends to suppress aggressive part of our mind, and we want to highlight, we want to emerge, we want to uh, grasp, we want to excavate peaceful type of peaceful uh, ends of our mind. We want to highlight it, we want to investigate, we want to excavate and bring them out. We have to suppress the aggressive way of thinking, aggressive way of life. We have to suppress it. if you want to achieve peace culture. How it can be done? According to Professor Alice Godwin, it can be done through the process of socialization. Through the process of socialization, the way of we perceiving the society, the way of we understand the society, the way of we exposing to the society, that is called socialization. It begins from our childhood while we were on the swing, baby swing, while we were on the hands of our mother. We started to see the world. We started to think about the world. We started to understand others' feelings, attitudes, beliefs, behaviors, and so on. We started to react others while we were on the baby swing or part of our mother and father. That's how we are having understand about the society, about living and non-living living creatures and non-living matters which are surrounding us. That's how we start to perceive. Right? I think you can understand this one, right? But the way of socialization, socialization process, if it is violent, then the people, they would prefer violent, or in later part of their life, violence or violent activities or violent behaviors or violent living pattern can be found. If it's clear, in their childhood or infant age, if they experience violent way of socialization, then later part of their life they would release their violent behavior to the utter society. While they were having their socialization process, they would have the chance to do it peacefully. Then the later part of their life, they would commit to cultivate peace. They would commit to achieve peace. They would commit to develop peaceful society. Right? They will do that. Socialization process is very important when making a peaceful society. When we want to cultivate peace culture, socialization process is very much important. Very much important. Have you got the point, Aruni, Lakni? I got the message from Lakni. Yes, sir. Where peace culture can be found, according to Professor Ellis, the familial household is an important source of peace culture in any society. According to her perspective, family is the best place to cultivate peace. We can cultivate peace from our family. We can learn from our family how to cultivate peace. It is there that women's nurturing culture flourishes. Traditional women have been the farmers as well as the bearers of the children, the feeders and healers of the extended family. So then the kind of responsiveness to growing things, plants, animals, babies, that women have had to learn from for the human species to survive is centered to development of peaceful behavior. It means in traditional family, I mean, if it is patriarchal society, patriarchal society means male members of the society are the superior. Female are not superior. They have to follow the decisions of the male members of the society. That society is called patriarchal society. In patriarchal society, there's assumption that male members of the society or male members of the family, they are born to do outdoor works from their houses, from their domestics. They are born to do certain jobs outside the house, outside the home. But female members of the family, they are born to do domestic works, cleaning, cooking, bearing children, suckle the children and all, feed the children and all these things, right? Sometimes they were compelled or they are compelled to cultivate domestic lands or homelands. It means uh, family cultivation. She has to do certain things, right? Sometimes she has to look after animals as well, maybe goats, cows, and so on. However, the situation compelled her to stay at her own home. Therefore, she has received enough time to interact with her children rather than her husband, right? It means the father, I mean, children in the patriarchal society, they are very close to the mother, not the father, because mother is always available for them. Father, most of the time, father is not in a home because he's in outside and working outside. Sometimes it is very rare to come to home, right? So it is easy access to mother. Then mother has extraordinary responsibility or opportunity to socialize her children towards the peace culture. Towards the peace culture. That's what Alice Baldwin, the professor, she's highlighting the importance of women's role in cultivating peace culture, making peace culture. Because while doing all the duties and functions of the domestic sphere, she receives good opportunity, enough time to interact with her children. So then she can build up them towards the end of peace culture. That's what the professor highlighted. However, certain communities, they're having their own mechanisms of solving problems. If you want to have idea or understanding or study about them, you want to do research about this community to find what exact mechanism they're following to resolve their own conflict. For example, think about indigenous people in Sri Lanka or Vedda community. They're having their own mechanism to settle their conflict peacefully and using non-violence communicational method. Non-violence communication. They have their own mechanism to settle their conflict non-violently. One mechanism is called Varigasabha. Varigasabha is very important. That's the utmost communal society among them. They are bound to the decisions of the Varigasabha because Varigasabha is there to settle the conflict or disputes peacefully and non-violently. Likewise, other communities, yeah, for example, in Sri Lanka, Rodi, then there are many others, no? So then they have their own mechanisms to solve the conflict peacefully and non-violently. Likewise, in other areas in the world, I mean, we are thinking about different areas in Asia, Africa, and Latin American continents, or even in the Western countries. We can, or even in the Eskimos in Tawa community in Sierra Leone or Congo, so then Inuit in Canada, Alaska, and other areas, we can find their own mechanisms which were established to solve the conflict peacefully and non-violently. I have put certain links at the reference page. You can uh, use those links to watch certain videos and you can find out how the Tawa community and Eskimos use the culture, right? But if you want to uh, have a good investigation about how they settle the conflict peacefully and non-violently, it takes a long time and it requires very close investigation about their societies or particular societies. It must do. Without having such effort, we cannot reach or we cannot have understanding about what they are really having. That's what Alice Baldwin is highlighted, the women's role in peace, cultivating peace culture. This is about ancient examples, Tawa people in North, as I mentioned before, northeastern Sierra or Congo, then the Inuit people in Greenland, Canada, and Alaska, indigenous people in Sri Lanka, like I have mentioned, Vargisaba and so on. So that's what I want to highlight today, as mentioned by Professor Alice Baldwin. Right, if you have any questions, clarifications, or comments now, this is the time to raise your voice. So thank you very much for your kind attention and kind participation. That's very That's very interesting, but I would like to have what's called. I would like to see. I would like to hear your voices and questions. Yes, Saroni.
Yes, sir.
Any questions or clarifications from your side? Everything
No,
is
sir.
fine. Everything is okay from your side. What is the meaning of identifiable society? It means target society, targeted society. How I use this term? Identifiable society means I mean, targeted. For example, if we think about indigenous people in Sri Lanka, so that's the identifiable society, right? So, Lakni, got the answer? Okay, I saw in the slide. That's what, for example, if you want to study about the subculture of the university student, so that's an identifiable society. So if you want to see the Aikuntika people in Sri Lanka, so that's the identifiable society. Got the answer? Yes. So what else? Thank you very much for your question. If your connection is not stable or you cannot speak well, then you can use the chat box, right? There are many options in Zoom package. We can use them. We want to use them. All these things are for the benefit of ourselves. Right? Anything from your side? I will put this video to YouTube today. Then you can watch. Then after, if you have any questions or clarifications regarding this, you can ask again and again. That's a teaching and learning process. According to Professor Galton, everyone is the student. Though we are lecturers, though we are temporary assistant lecturers, or they see professors or senior professors, as very clearly mentioned by the Professor Galton, he said that though I'm a professor of peace and conflict, I'm also the student. Likewise, anyone is in here studying peace and conflict, everyone can be considered as students in the period of peace and conflict. So then, thank you very much for you all. Shall we depart today?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.